Good morning, everyone. Boker Tov. This week's Torah portion, Ki Tavo, begins with the mitzvah of Bikurim, the first fruit. The Torah describes how when the Jewish people came to the land of Israel, the farmer would harvest his field, and then he would take the first ripened fruit, place them in a basket, and bring them to Jerusalem, and go to the temple and present them to the Kohen with this beautiful lengthy declaration of gratitude to God for the blessings of his first fruit. And the Talmud describes how this mitzvah was done with great fanfare. There was an entire procession with musical instruments accompanying the farmers as they brought their first fruit and presented it to the Kohen in the temple. And the question is, we do many mitzvot, many commandments. Why does this mitzvah receive special recognition and importance, that it is done with so much fanfare and celebration, accompanied by flutes and singing and dancing, and this beautiful lengthy declaration of gratitude? After all, the farmer is just bringing a simple basket. Yes, if he was a wealthy farmer, his basket was larger, with more luscious and elaborate fruit. But he may have been just a simple farmer with just a few items, a few simple fruits. Why does this mitzvah deserve such excitement? And the answer is that it's not about the fruit in the basket, but it's about the fact that it's his fruit, that the farmer toiled and labored all season long to create this fruit. By the sweat of his brow, he tilled the earth and planted the seeds, and then he harvested, and he's presenting his best offering. He is presenting himself, his efforts, his passion. It's his love and dedication that he is bringing to God. And that's what God cherishes. It's not the fruit. It's the investment of self. And that's the message of every mitzvah. Yes, every mitzvah has its instruments, has its vehicle, has its way of performance. Whether it's blowing the shofar on Rosh Hashanah or shaking the lulav and etrog on Sukkot. But what God looks for most is our heart, our dedication. Our very self is what he wants to be in a relationship with. He wants to see our love, our enthusiasm, our excitement to be in his presence, whether it's on the high holidays or sitting in the sukkah or putting on our tefillin every day. And that's what God celebrates, his children, his relationship with us. One of the hostages who is still sitting in captivity, tragically, is a young man by the name of Bar Cooperstein. Bar Cooperstein was a staff member, a paramedic at the Nova Music Festival. And when the terrorists came, instead of running, he started to treat victims of the attack. And tragically, the terrorists caught him and took him into Gaza, and he is still sitting with the 101 hostages in Gaza. But his mother one day went into his bedroom and saw his tefillin sitting on his desk. Now, although Bar wasn't necessarily religious, he put on tefillin every day. And so his mother posted on social media and said, you know, my son's tefillin Bar is sitting in his room. And I'm wondering, is there someone out there who doesn't put on tefillin, who would be willing to start putting on his tefillin every day in his merit, because he cannot put them on while he is in captivity in Gaza? Within moments, she got a response from a man by the name of Tzvika Gravier. And Tzvika said, you know, I do put on tefillin every day. I have my own pair, but I have an idea. How about if I take Bar's tefillin and I'll set up a stand in Tel Aviv and I'll offer people the opportunity to do a mitzvah in his merit, for his spiritual merit, that he should be released together with all the other hostages. And she said, that's a wonderful idea. And so he went, took the tefillin, set up a beautiful stand in Tel Aviv with a big picture of Bar, with a sign that said, come put on Bar's tefillin for Bar, for his merit. And lines of people in Tel Aviv started to come to have the merit to put on his tefillin, to aid him and to send him spiritual strength and blessings. And every day he would go to different communities with the same stand. And thousands of people throughout Israel started to put on tefillin with Bar's tefillin. One day Tzvika calls the mother of Bar and says, I have an idea. Would it be okay if I took the tefillin and travel to the United States, to go to other communities, to give Jews all around the world the opportunity to wear the bar's tefillin for the strengthening of all of the hostages. And she said, that would be wonderful. I give you my blessings. And so Tzvika began a tour. And he traveled to communities throughout America, Los Angeles, New York, Chicago. And recently he was here in Florida. And he went to communities in Miami and Fort Lauderdale and Boca Raton. And he went to the synagogues. And the rabbi sent out emails saying, come, put on tefillin in honor of Bar. And hundreds of people flooded the synagogues to put on tefillin with Bar's tefillin. And he even traveled to Canada. And he's on a mission to keep on doing mitzvot with Bar's tefillin until he is released. And Tzvika said that one of the most moving experiences he had was when he was once standing in Tel Aviv. And a young man came up to him and said, what is this? And he explained to him that Bar is in captivity and they're offering people the opportunity to put on his tefillin. And the young man said, I would like to put on the tefillin. And he helped him put on the tefillin. He showed him how to do it. And then he offered him a prayer book. And the young man said, it's okay, I don't need a prayer book. And the man closed his eyes and he started to pray just from his heart, talking to God. And for a half hour he stood there crying, just praying to God in his own words. When he finished, he took off the tefillin. And Tzvika asked this young man, I noticed you were very emotional wearing his tefillin. You prayed for a long time. Tell me, what is it about this tefillin that meant so much to you? And this young man says, I've never put on tefillin in my life. I'm completely secular, not religious. But I was at the Nova Music Festival on October 7th, and I managed to survive. And I saw the way Bar was rescuing people, aiding people. And when I saw his picture, I remembered him. And I wanted to put on his tefillin and connect with him and send him my love and my gratitude and pray for his release and the release of all 101 hostages. When a Jew turns to God, he doesn't need a prayer book. He doesn't need to know how to do the mitzvah. But when he puts himself into it, he puts his emotions, his love, his feelings into the mitzvah. It may just be a simple few fruits, but God says it's your fruits. It's your best efforts. It's your dedication. It's your commitment. And that's what I cherish and celebrate above all. Have a wonderful day.